Lisa to inviting me today, so thank you very much for that, I appreciate it. Can we also have a big round of applause for Unipool Cosplay for organising the cosplay competition today? And the fellow helpers Lois and Toby for helping as well. So thank you very much guys. If it weren't for these, we wouldn't be having a cosplay competition and I wouldn't be boring you for the next 20 minutes. So as David said, my name is Evan Davies and I'm Ninja Trooper Creations. So what I do for a living is I make Wookiees full-time in a little shed in the back of my mum and dad's garden. It's not that glamorous, but I make Wookiees for a living. So here's some of the examples of my work on stage, and the lovely Matthew Baldwin is also one of my creations as well, a lovely model there. So I'll give you a bit of background of how I started off making Wookiees. So for 17 years I was a teacher, believe it or not. Everyone looks at me and thinks, how could you be a teacher who's covered in tattoos? It was an independent school and it was special education needs, and I was a teacher for 17 years teaching PE and art. So I was very interested in making Wookiees and I've done various costumes and bits and pieces like that, but just before that little pandemic, COVID-19, I actually done a special effects and prosthetics course up in Liverpool under a chap called Sean Harrison. Then my kind of dreams were that I was going to go into the film industry and start making, you know, stuff for the films, but then COVID happened. So I thought, well, what can I do? So I started making a few Wookiees for people. Of course, that led to me giving up teaching, which was fantastic. So I ended up giving up teaching and making Wookiees full time. So that's what I do. So what I'm going to do is just explain to you how I make a Wookie. So it won't take long, although it does take long to process. Okay, so first thing you start when making a Wookie is a pyjama pattern. Okay, this is what I adapt them slightly because some people are bigger and some people are smaller, but the main process of it is you start with a pyjama pattern, what you can get from most hobby crafts and Amazon and bits and pieces like that. And the fabric I actually use is mesh. So this is very similar to the guys that got the insides of their swimming trunks. And there's two methods that I use. I can either latch with a latch hook. I did have one here to show you, but I've lost it. It's very tiny. So you can individually latch each bit of hair into the costume, or you can hand layer it with silicone and put them in there. So I've got a couple of examples for you. So the big Wookie there, he's what we call hand layered with silicone. So it's quite heavy and extremely hot. That's lovely. Can you give us a twirl? Just walk across there. That's lovely. Fantastic. So that's a hand layered one, which is quite hot, quite heavy, but he's a butcher man, he can carry it off. Or we've got the actual one that's latched, which is a lot longer. So something like Matt's will take me about 6 weeks to make, usually. But this one I started, I mean I put it down a couple of times, but I started this last April. And it takes me a long time just to do that. So the whole process of Wookiees takes a long time. This is a Chewy, one of my Chewies, but we've got another Chewy walking around. So yeah, it takes a long time, just layers after layers of putting the silicone in and making sure it's dry and doing another row, then another row, then another row, and cutting it and stuff like that. So you might be thinking, where does the hair come from? The hair is actually just packets of synthetic hair. I mean, other people can use different forms of hair, but this is the more cost-effective one. It does take quite a lot of maintaining. You have to use different products and bits and pieces like that, but it is just normal synthetic hair, so lots of that. So if I'm making a Wookie in that size, which is quite a bit bigger, it's about 60 to 70 packets of hair that go into making a Wookie like that, so it takes a long time processing that. Now the heads that you've seen there, very nice timing, well done Paul. So I actually buy the head kits from P&P Props, which is that Wookie there. So Paul sends me the actual head kits and I design them and bits and pieces like that. Hi Paul. Hi. But also Paul does make Wookies as well, so I add that. So P&P Props, they do make Wookies in the head kits, so if you need to get any kits, that's it, that's lovely, there we go. Can we give Paul a round of applause? That was beautiful. Thank you very much. So yeah, if you need a head kit, get some pulls. So what basically the kit is, underneath it is a fiberglass kind of shell, like a skull, so you've got the structure. Then you've got a silicone face on there, and the teeth. And there's two ways, you can either latch it or stick it and a hole punch around the eyes to make it look like a Wookie. So that takes quite a long time as well. Right, for the height of a Wookiees, there's different ways of what different people like to do. I've made different kind of versions of feet. You can go for the more expensive version, which is a company called Crow Props, where they make these great big platform inches that are about 12-inch platform shoes, but that's a very expensive option. There is another way, which is plaster of stilts, so they're about 15 inches big, so you can stand on plaster of stilts. That is another way. Or the other way, which I've done, which what Matt uses and which I've got for my Chewy, is basically lifts, so another form of plasterers lifts. So that's another way where we can get the height, just with a slope at the top and a nice bit of foam, so you get the nice kind of not lumpy effect of the hair sliding down. Okay, so there's different ways that I make a Wookie. Are there any questions so far, in case I'm going too fast? Any things about Wookie? None from this area? No. Okay, so you're all quite okay? That's good, right, okay. So, yeah, so I've been making Wookiees for 2 years, and it's been quite busy, which I'm quite surprised, because you're probably thinking, how much do they cost? They're not cheap, okay? Not everybody can go out and afford to buy a Wookie. They do cost a lot of money. I won't shout how much they are, but if you want to come up and talk to me later, or come talk to Paul about any bits we can do, because each Wookie is made for the individual person. Not one Wookie will fit that person, so it would be a different shape and size. You'd have to fit it for that particular person, okay? The other bits and pieces that I get, I'm one of those people that if somebody can make it better, why would I try making it? So the Wookie bandoliers are from another company called CEO to Run. So it's a lovely lady from America that makes these bandoliers. They are incredibly heavy, but they are so well made. And that's, if anyone comes to me for a Wookie, I will send them off to a company called CEO to Run, and she will make these absolutely fantastic bags. I mean, I can make them, but they're no way as good as this. Leather is not my kind of area. Going on to the next thing, how do the Wookiees get the sound? Well, some people do make the noises out of their mouth, but if you're walking around a convention like this for a couple of hours, you'll get very, very tired of doing Wookie sounds and bits and pieces like that. So again, there's different ways. Here's one I made earlier. So basically, it's just what we call an ACA, a little portable speaker. You can get different brands which are called Tramp, where you can have different finger triggers for different sounds, but I like to keep it simple. I've just got a very, very old iPod Shuffle. I've got 5 sounds on there. I know exactly what sound's coming next, and I just press the button, open my mouth, and that's how we get the Wookie sounds, okay? So there's lots of ways that you can do that. Any questions? Super. Yes, go on then. No? You're too shy. Sorry, you come and speak to me later and I can chat to that bits like that. Okay, so how are we doing for time? That's all. Excellent, right.
Right, does anybody have any questions? Maybe about the footwear. How does he get all the way up there?
Done that.
Have you told them about how you survive the heat?
Oh yeah, the heat.
You think it's hot in here, you should try wearing one of those. How do you survive the heat then, Evan?
Well, with a Wookie, as most costumes as cosplayers will tell you, any costume you will wear will be really, really hot. The thing with the Wookiees that most of them wear, we actually wear undersuits underneath. Okay, so it's usually, leggings and the top, and funny enough, a balaclava. And you think, well, why are you wearing all that when it's really hot? It's because when you get to a certain kind of heat, you just get so hot, and you just stay at that sweatiness all day. It sounds horrible, but it is really hot. It's really hot. Oh, David, a young lady there has a question. Run over.
I don't know if the microphone will work this far. Let's see what happens. Yes.
My mum's on the phone, but she has a question. How long do you have to stay in them for?
Very, very good question. When I first started doing Wookies, I used to do. We done Legoland with Joker Squad. Thank you. When we done Legoland, we was in our kits for about 6 or 7 hours a day, and it is very, very hot. It depends on the individual. When I first started doing it, I was like really passionate. I want to get out and get loads of photos and stuff like that, and I used to do it for about 5 or 6 hours. Paul, who's a Chewy here, he's very good. He stays in costume for hours. Matt, because he's quite enthusiastic, he's only just got one here, staying in it for a couple of hours. Honestly, now I'm kind of at a stage where I do it for an hour, 2 hours. But it's one of those costumes, if you take it off and it's very, very hot and sweaty, once you've had your lunch break and you go to put it back on again, it's really wet and stinky. So you kind of best off kind of stay in it as long as you can, take your head off, have some water, have a breath, have something to eat, and go back out in it again. It's incredibly, incredibly hot. So it's up to you to stay in it as long as you like. But I only do about an hour or two now. It's like I had Kylo Ren on this morning and I was in that for an hour. Because I've kind of got to a stage now where, yeah, I don't like to costume too long. Longer than 20 minutes though.
It's not easy. Do we have any more questions? Yes, we have one more. Over here. Hang on.
How do you maintain the costumes? Because obviously you sweat into them and stuff like that.
That's a great question. Now, it does take a lot of maintenance. I mean, I've sold Wookiees to various people, and I've had them back 4 months later because they need repairs, because they blamed it on me because it looked like a mess and bits and matted and stuff like that. So the actual main products that I use are for horses. So horse mane and tail spray are the actual best products to use. So you just spray that on and give it a brush, and it makes it look nice and refreshed and stuff like that. My first Wookie, which was this one, the People's Wookie, thank you. I didn't wash it, I'm embarrassed to say this, properly for about 2 or 3 years. Ooh. Right. I mean, I did do it with Febreze, but I put it in my bath at home, and literally the water was black running out of it. But if you want to do a quick maintain, if Febreze works, the horse sprays work. But another one as well, if you, like with most costumes, particularly if they're weathered and they look all grubby and stuff like that, if you water down vodka and spray it on, it kills all the bacteria and all the sprays. So if you put a bit of that on, then a little bit of Febreze, it actually makes most costumes smell better. So yeah, that was a good question. Thank you.
So I've just been given an excuse to bath in vodka. Right, anybody else have any questions? No, okay, I have one question for Evan then. Evan, what would be your dream project?
Well, it's actually something that's been in the pipeline for a long time. I mean, I'm actually making a new Wookie for myself, but I just need to because my other Wookie's really, really tired. But something I would love to do, and bearing in mind that I've got a Wampa that's 10 foot tall, I've been talking for about 3 years of making a Rancor. That's where I want to go. But I'd have to do it with lots of help, and it would have to be under Joker Squad, and they already hate my Wampa because it's too big and it takes 2 people to spot them, so insurance...
It is awesome. It's a shame you couldn't wear it today, but to seeing that walking around here is incredibly impressive. It's huge.
Very, very big, yeah. It was at WinterCon a couple of years ago, but I would like to get it out more, but when I wear it, I always have to rely on 2 people to help me, and I feel really bad because they've given up their weekends like we all have, and they have to just walk around with this giant hairy Wookie, so it's not fun for them. So it doesn't come out as much as I like it to, but yeah, but I'd say the Rancor would be up there for me.
Yeah, I for one would love to see that. So, right, any final questions? No? Well, I think, thank you very much, Evan. I know how much he suffers for what he does. All cosplayers, and myself included, it is very hard work, but the guys in the Wookiees, I know they struggle. It is not easy. They're made of harder stuff. So thank you very much, Evan Davis.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a lovely afternoon.